I'm not sure if you guys see me in this way, but I've had a few people tell me how they think it's good that I have a calm demeanor, the way I see things. And I've made a conscious effort over the years. I think it's come from not enjoying being uncomfortable. I don't like being afraid. This is from as long as I can remember when I was younger. I don't like being insecure. I don't like that space. And as such, I have a big thing with controlling my life as much as I can. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys will say, free will doesn't exist and all that stuff. I know. There's virtually everything is predetermined. You have virtually no control in your life. We are all going to die. But I've had a few people in my life, women I've gone out with, family and friends. Often they say, it's really cool the way you're so calm about this or that or how you see things. I wish I had your demeanor. And I always think about how I was in my late teens, especially. I was a very quiet, shy, introverted guy who was worried about everything, insecure about everything, myself, what I was going to do. And I realized that's probably the reason I shut myself in my room and I tried to work things out on paper a lot. I created stories. I created fictional worlds to escape into. And then after a while, I started to realize I had control in creating these worlds. And these worlds I created on paper that I worked out from here onto the page, whether it was illustrations, writing stories, I started to process that in my real life slowly as I got older, unconsciously. And then I started to see, this mechanism of fictionally changing this story or creating a story on paper. It was no longer I'm here and this escape over here is separate. It started to be a conversation and I drew it closer and closer. And before I knew it, I started expressing and trying things out that I had tried out on paper in the real world, if you know what I mean. And it was a way of taking more control of my life. So obviously it happened over many years. I've heard people say to me, it's easy for you, human, you're naturally calm and positive. But from the outside, that calmness that everyone saw was me hiding and shutting my mouth and shutting the world out. It's I'd say it's the same thing you hear, especially women who tend to naturally be insecure because of their passive state in life. They can look coy or snobbish, but inside they're falling apart. Inside they're really shy and they're extremely insecure and they're afraid of what they're going to say, how they're going to be seen. I was tired of feeling this way, and so I wanted a way out, and my way out was writing and stories. And so I think I created mechanisms by which I could express through the person that walks around and interacts with people. One big thing I noticed was how I spoke to myself, and I noticed that by what I wrote on the page. And I was really surprised at that. The amount of times I said, I can't be bothered because of, and then followed by a convenient excuse just to justify my laziness or my cowardice. A lot of the times we're not lazy, we're just afraid. And I didn't like that. And also it was like an aha moment, like, I found the key. It's not that I can't be bothered. It's that I'm afraid. It's not because I can't be bothered and there's no point. It's because I'm lazy. So you start to actually see the truth of things, especially with things that you want to do, especially with ways in which you want to speak up, but you don't. You start finding the little hacks. You start saying, no, this is a convenient excuse. And if you just do the opposite or do what you know should be done, or you say what you know you should say, your life will be better. Or at the very least, the chances of your life improving dramatically will be better, sometimes almost guaranteed. It's funny. It's not so much by faking positivity, like a Tony Robbins cliche, where you just repeat words often enough It's actually logically looking at the glass half full or glass half empty proposition. You can be the glass is half empty, what's the point? It's all going to end anyway. Or you can say, sure, but while I'm here, why don't I enjoy myself? If you know you're going to be at a party you're stuck at and there's no way you can leave for a few hours because you came with someone, you're with your family or whatever, it's so much better to let things go. And the letting go thing, I've noticed, is the biggest way to ease your anxiety. I don't dance with negative feelings because I don't want to feel bad. And here's a little trick I learned a long time ago I came up with, was whenever I have a resistant feeling, a procrastinating feeling, I just don't want to do something, a way I always talk to myself is add a few words at the end of a resistant feeling or an excuse I'm making up to help you let go of any resistant negative feelings that you'd rather not be in because logically you just wish you weren't in that state. I always add the words, and that's okay at the end. Or I add that feeling, that kind of letting go. So she left me and broke my heart, and that's okay. It's a kind of neutralizing effect. So I found that, especially with someone like myself and probably many of you guys that pride yourself on intellectual curiosity and having to work things out, the more control you can have over your life, twisting those dials so everything is perfect. It's counterintuitive, but I found the best thing that works for me to have control in my life is to let go. Not do the opposite thing, is to neutralize the effect. So with any resistance, where I know, it's almost a guarantee, if I'm leaning more in the direction of enthusiasm or, why don't you just do it? Not pushing yourself like, do it, you idiot, but just do it. Like washing the dishes, like pressing the button on the washing machine, like doing 50 push-ups. You don't argue with resistance or laziness or convenient excuses are just justifying your old state where you're lazy and procrastinating, you don't get anything done. Rather, you let go in a way to allow you to drop into the state you'd rather be in because you're going to be more productive there. The results are going to be more positive. So do you know what I mean? It's not talking to yourself fakely. It's what mechanism can you use or what way can you talk to yourself? Because everyone's got their own way. Don't listen to my way, but it may help you think, what can you do? What mechanism can you use to get rid of procrastination? Mine, because I love working things out, when it comes to emotions, that doesn't work. When you fight negative emotions and procrastination, you make them grow. It fights you back. It fights you back to the degree that your intellect is fighting it. So the best thing to do, the best course of action is to let go. Don't give it anything to hold on to. And as I said, it seems counterintuitive to a guy who wants certainty and safety. I've got a big and high state of self-preservation in me and working things out and intellectual curiosity and tinkering with things and creatively making sense of stuff, a high-tuned way of philosophically understanding things. I want to be sure of things and see them concretely. And so it's very counterintuitive to almost not care. But where that is absolutely useful and gets you a lot of things you weren't able to get before is to not fight resistance at all. And like I said, say something or come up with something that's the equivalent of, and that's okay. Death comes around, a family member dies. You're sad, but you neutralize it and you give it the respect it deserves and say, okay, it's there, but that's okay. That's normal. That's normal. You could use that word. I guess what I'm saying is try and find a way to neutralize procrastination or resistance or not doing things and going back to your old ways and then not liking yourself, spending decades being that. If you like who you are, keep doing it. But Always do the thing you don't want to do, especially if you know it's going to liberate you and send you in a direction where your life is better, but you just can't get over the mechanisms. Find a way to hack the mechanisms. And I found the best way isn't to fight them, isn't to be smarter than them, because you won't be. You can't be smarter than feelings. In a debate between logic and emotion, logic must capitulate, must submit, or logic must leave. So a way of leaving is to let go. Or put another way, it's a way of ignoring the person in here who's never been a good friend to you, but it's the only close person you've ever been able to have a conversation with that's been puppeteering you. Because the thing in here is trying to keep you safe, but it's keeping you safe in a very primitive way, the way it kept you safe as a child. Safety at all costs. I'm a realist. I haven't got my head in the clouds. I know death's coming. I know more of my life's behind me. But because I value and appreciate my family and friends and all the things I'm still able to do, my creativity, my hobbies, my life, I want to enjoy this dance as much as possible because I'm given this opportunity on stage before the curtains come down. Am I going to sit there slumped and say, well, the curtains are going to come down. What's the point? You are not going to live forever. So really make the most of it. Tell people how you feel. Tell your hobbies how they feel, if that makes sense. Like, get rid of that roadblock. It's not about faking positivity. Don't fake anything. Just find your own ways to rationally and optimistically hack the negativity in whatever ways work for you. So anyway, guys, I hope that was useful for you. I hope you can kind of come up with your own ways of letting go and not necessarily fighting your negative emotions and negative states that have been with you for a long time, probably your whole life. I think the key is to counterintuitively let go of them in any way that works for you. I've told you mine. Maybe they'll help you think of your own. And give me a thumbs up if you like the video, subscribe. And if you want to support the channel, there are links below. I appreciate you guys who have supported me this month. It means a lot. And I'll talk to you really soon. Bye.